And action! Shannon had a question about food and mood. Summary. And a couple of bullet points I've put together are, with regards to your practice and how you're going to eat, try to get some shopping done. And you're going to have to try to go to different places to see and pay attention to prices, pay attention to time of season. The idea is to be a good shopper, and you can stick to your usual grocery that you go to, but you'll find, depending on where you go, they have different suppliers, and you might find some stuff more fresh in different places. Know your go-to places, or jot down stuff because it's easy to remember. It's also easy to forget. If you don't do a certain dish except for once a month, you'll kind of have your list, your go-to list of grocery stores where you know you can get the ingredients. And that's why I put down burn. As I mentioned, when my mom passed away, I destroyed a lot of dishes, and I set off the smoke alarm in the kitchen a couple times, but through trial and error, I've always had a fire extinguisher ready, but through trial and error, it's nice because you can fine-tune your cooking skills. But the only way to learn is to watch and then do. So don't feel bad, but try to get some meals under your belt. Get your timing down. I think it's important to eat on a routine basis with a ritualistic kind of practice, because if your gut knows regularity, then it knows also when to wake up, when to start secreting, when to expect the fuel sources, and when to go to sleep. If you have it in a haphazard way, or if your schedule, if you're on a shift schedule, like some police officers or some nurses, could be a problem. But most of my officers, most of my firefighters, most of my nurses will at least work the same shift for the month. You just have to switch over when time comes. But if you get a pattern down, then the gut will fare better, and so will your family. And you'll be able to time your shop. Say you shop on Sunday to prep for the whole week. You'll time your Sundays. You'll get more efficient with that. You can time your meal prep in the morning or your ideas about what you're going to do the next day. So it's effortless. Don't wait till the last minute. We used to do this when we were first raising our kids when they were young, because you're so exhausted as a parent. And then when they say, "I'm hungry," you know kids don't want to wait. You've got about 10 minutes. Unless you're a really good cook, and my wife is an excellent cook, so she can come up with an idea what to cook. She can put it together, including chopped vegetables, boil, stew, simmer, saute, and be done really quick. Now, I'm not that fast. I need some time. So don't wait till the last minute. Have your go-to meals ready, your ideas ready, your ingredients ready. The last thing you want to do is forget you have the ingredient you didn't put in your cupboard, and then you have to stop the meal, stop the burner, get up to the grocery, pack everybody up, go shopping, find it, then come back and continue. You're going to get everybody very hungry, very irritable. Remember, when people are hungry, that's when the fight or flight response comes on. That's stress, fight or flight, because in hunger, the brain thinks, oh, we're starving, we have to eat whatever's available. And when you have that decision-making process, usually what you're going to do is choose the fastest, highest satiety meals. Those are usually candies, high glycemic index foods. You'll have the wrong choices, alcohol. So you'll be tempted to stop by the fast food place. So try not to wait till the last minute. And if you're dead tired, well, prep on Sunday so that you can at least pull out something from the fridge, a leftover maybe, or something you can whip up real quick. That's where I put meals ready to eat down here, but we'll get to that in a second. So these are just some bullet points about getting your feet ready in the kitchen, getting used to the timing, and getting used to cooking. Now, as far as the basics of building blocks and choosing the right building blocks for your experiment or your trial, always have to have fiber. I think most American diets are lacking on fiber. Watch my videos, Dr. Rick Tutorial, Fiber 1 and 2 and 3. I think I even have a 4, and you'll see what I mean. Fiber can be in the form of grain. Now, if you're suffering from gut and psychology syndrome, you might want to avoid grain for a while. If you have an autoimmune disease, you might want to avoid grain for a while, just because it's hard to get. Grain is refined, and sometimes it's an irritant, but it depends on which camp and which author you follow. But you always have to have some form of fiber, whether it's in the form of grains, and try to go a gluten-free if you can, or it's in the form of fruit and vegetables. I recently did a video, I can't remember the name of it, I'm sorry, but I talked about how many fruits and vegetables, and if you don't know, it's 800 grams. That's about 26 ounces. That's a lot. And I kept on rattling off fruits and vegetables. I ran out, but still, even before I ran out, half of the things I rattled off to get to 800 grams, I don't even finish in a day. I'm a semi-vegetarian. So if you're trying to get to that ideal body mass index, which is less than 25 for Americans, because it equals less disease when you're 50 or 40 or 60, and you're trying to get to a diet full of micronutrients, full of macronutrients, full of building blocks to propel you to faster thinking, more creative ideas and thoughts, and exercise, you got to include something like that. So the other thing I think is oil. Most American diets are lacking oil. I'm not talking about just oily substance. I'm talking about fats. Usually if you get some fish oil, it'll balance out your processed food. Processed food usually has a lot of omega-6. Non-processed whole food, mostly plant-based if you can, usually has a lot of omega-3. Equal balances make it safer. High omega-6 processed usually leads to heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. High omega-3 avoids all that crap. So try to make it healthy oil if you can. If you can't, and your choices are slim and you're still starting this thing out, just take omega-3 fish oil. So in capsule strength, that's about 4,000 milligrams of total omega-3 per day. See my tutorial, Dr. Rick tutorial, omega-3 oil, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You also have to have a protein strategy. So as far as the new information for the day, it all circles around protein. Paleo, fasting dieting, low carb diet, most of it's manipulating your protein. And the guys in Canada have found that you can tolerate more protein nowadays. The studies are even into your 60s. So it depends on your author of choice. AOC is author of choice. Find an author, read the book cover to cover, and follow that strategy. You can do it for about 3 months, and if you can trash it, if you don't like it, find another author. There's always going to be somebody else that you can follow. Science is always evolving. Finally, again, the MREs, meals ready to eat. It's always nice to have your go-to backup, just in case all this fails. In case you're hiking, like I'm taking my group to in October to Colorado. We're going to probably have a lot of MREs, but that's okay. We have a lot of activity. We need to refuel a lot. So just in case. Know your go-tos. Maybe stock them in the freezer. Keep the cans of low sodium whatever in your cupboard, just in case. And or a restaurant that you know is worthy around you that you can all call in 10 minutes. And then finally, avoidance is important. This is where you probably won't like to hear. Coffee when you're first starting out a healthy diet, probably a no-no because of its coffee bean irritant, caffeine or no caffeine. Alcohol, I don't think is good when you're trying to make a lifestyle change. For a short time, please. I think it's just so many empty calories in that. There is nice camaraderie with alcohol, and the social aspects are great, but it's just empty calories, and if we're trying to make a lifestyle change, maybe later. Soda, cut it. Unless you like club soda. Club soda is okay, especially if you're low on your sodium. Got to be careful if you're hypertensive. You don't want to take too much sodium in, but club soda be okay. Any other canned soda, no. Even the energy drinks, I'd rather have you take coffee, although coffee is on the list. It's better than energy drinks. So, and then finally, anger. Eating in the right attitude, eating with peace, eating slowly, usually is the safest way to make sure that whatever you're refueling with, basic building blocks, it gets to do what it has to do. If you eat, even if you eat healthiest food available, hitting all those points, but you're angry, you're stressed out, it still causes more inflammation. We talk about inflammation all the time, pro-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory. So what negates all that information that I just mentioned is if you're in anger, if you're being beaten, if you're in sadness. So you have to have that emotional overlays of peace. And that's where the mindful practice comes in handy. At the Chopra Center, when I became a yoga instructor, there was one meal that we had where nobody was allowed to talk. And it was a little uncomfortable, but halfway through the meal, everybody started realizing this food is great because we took our time, we paid attention to the texture of the food, paid attention to the smell of the food, we were at peace, we weren't in a hurry, we didn't have to answer any questions, didn't have a lecture, didn't have to go anywhere. So when you learn to slow down, you learn to control the stress response, food gets digested better, and when the food is good with regards to building block material, then it's a perfect setup for longevity. And that's what we're talking about here. Living till 100 doesn't count if you're a vegetable. Living to 100 where you contribute back to society, you help raise your kids, you help raise your great-grandkids, you contribute to society and leave your mark, it'll make a difference. So Shannon, this is a long-winded question and answer, but I think it's a valid one because a lot of people are asking the same thing. Food always equals mood, and mood can contribute to the way food is digested. So good job.